there, chipmunks! Welcome to the AMP Cycling Ride Review Series. I'm your host, Angry Chipmunk, and today we are in France doing the classic climb of Mont Ventoux. This is from Bedoin. This route is available on Rouvy, so let's get right to it. This is the climb only, so it's a pretty short 17 kilometers, but all 17 kilometers will be ascent, so it's a lofty 1,401 meters of elevation gain. It averages 8% and will max out at a whopping 19%. Annoyingly, there are no included Strava segments on this ride. However, there are many on Strava itself. They range from partial sections of the climb to various full climbs. Now, because there are so many full climb options, they are all a bit different in the distance and average, etc. Most consider the climb to be a bit over 15 kilometers long and average somewhere between 8.5 to 8.9%. All of the segments at this length are considered an HC climb. Unfortunately, there's no way to pinpoint exactly when the climbing starts, but it's about 2 kilometers into the ride when the gradients change from a light yellow to a darker orange. From the start of the climbing to about the 10 kilometer mark is pretty steep, seeing mostly 8 to 9% to 10% plus. Then there's a long section where it does mellow for a few kilometers, backing off quite a bit. The gradients don't back off to anything resembling flat, but they do ease to the point where you'll be seeing 2 to 5% quite regularly. This is an important place to try and regain some energy, as the last 1 to 2 kilometers get pretty steep and difficult. Generally speaking, I aim to go up the passes at a bit less than FTP, but still trying to maintain a consistent push. I find this to be the best use of energy. There's no real place on this ride to just coast along, so energy conservation for the tough bits is key. Now for this ride, you'll be needing both a very good warm-up and cool-down. The gradients are immediately positive and they will never back off to any flat or downhill sections. The ending here is the summit, so no place on the ride to cool down. I would aim for a minimum of 15 minutes on either side of this one. Don't push too hard, but definitely need to warm and loosen the muscles before starting. A good pre-fuel is essential for this one, and be sure to include plenty of protein. The pass-only rides are difficult to fuel during, so pre-fueling is key. During the ride itself, you'll be wanting plenty of faster-acting, easy-to-eat carbs, either a bar that is easy to chew, or things like gels or fruit purees or mini chocolate bars, gummies, etc. If you've got easy-to-eat bars, aim for 10 to 15 grams at the 1/3 intervals on this route. I would recommend an electrolyte water for this one, no matter the time of year, and a full sugar one can be a carb substitute as well. Definitely follow this one up with a protein of some sort and a magnesium supplement. Now the view on this one is pretty great, as are all mountain passes. You start with some pretty great looking forest roads before it opens up to the sparse landscape, and the white-gray rocks and distant peaks are a classic scene. This is a very popular route for real, so counting the number of real cyclists you pass can be a good way to help keep your brain occupied when it gets pretty tough. The final few kilometers also feature some low-hanging clouds, which always give a surreal effect while riding. The ending camera pan to third-person view is terrible, and I would much prefer to see the summit first-person, but it doesn't completely ruin the ride or the summit finish. It's just kind of annoying. This was one of the first tough climbs I did after a shoulder surgery, so it was a bit slower than efforts when I'm a bit less injured. As such, the ride took me almost 2 hours to complete on 100% difficulty emulation. I would say to budget anywhere from an hour and a half to 2.5 hours, depending on how healthy and how fast you are. With needing both a very good warm-up and cool-down, this is not suitable for those with time constraints at all. And be sure to budget the extra time needed for the warm-up and cool-down in your overall time needs. Overall, this is a fantastic climb that I would definitely recommend for the climbing enthusiast. Ventoux is probably my favorite French climb, and I've done several versions of it across a couple of different platforms. This one is a very busy route, and that does give it a completely immersive feel, like you're out there with all the other riders. It's a hard one that isn't suited to the newer climber at all, as 17 kilometers of it are ascending. For this route, I would give a 5 out of 5. It's a fantastic climb, and the filming was at a great time of year where you still get a little bit of that change from summer to winter. For the climb, 5 of 5. It's a very hard climb that's super fun, but still quite difficult. Pace it well or risk a bonk halfway, a great challenge for the enthusiast. For the view, 5 of 5. No doubt this is a classic beauty that everyone loves. And overall, 5 of 5. Definitely put this one in your ride queue, but only when you've got plenty of time to spare and want to punish your poor legs. Well, that's it for this review, so thanks for watching, chipmunks. Please let me know what you think of the Mont Ventoux climb from the Bedoin when you complete it. I'll leave you to finish the rest of the ride, and I'll see you next week for another review. Until then, ride on, chipmunks. Ride on.